What are your impressions of the scrimmage, Coach?
A lot of situation work. We got 99 snaps of offense, and then it was 34 snaps of special teams. So a lot of real good situation work till we can get in and get a chance to digest the tape and watch it as a staff. And it's always, when you watch a scrimmage, I think it depends on what side of the ball you're on. But if you're the head coach, it's a good play either way. If the defense makes a play, you're excited about them. But and then when the offense makes a play, you're excited about them. So there were a lot of good situations for us to go over, and we got some film, and we got the afternoon to get in there and watch the tape and make some adjustments in terms of what we're doing. And then they'll be back here tomorrow morning for meetings and lifting and running, and then we're getting ready for Arkansas State on Saturday. So it's starting to get the game week. So
how do you feel Marcus and Brian did?
Thought they did great.
Is there a sense of anticipation for you or the team to start focusing on an opponent?
Yeah, to start focusing on an opponent, yeah. I think they've done a great job of focusing on just getting better every single day, and now that kind of mindset changes. It's coming into your meeting room, and you're not always just watching what you just did and then installing and things like that. Now you're putting tape on of an opponent and starting to put in a game plan, and there's a fun part of that. If you're a competitor, you've been comparing yourself to the guys on your team since August 6th if you're a player here, but sometimes that can get a little bit old for them, so now we get a chance to now see as collectively as a group how we're going to do when we get outside on the first against Arkansas State, and that's fun. So
are you still these final decisions? Is it not just we talk about the quarterbacks a lot, but there are a lot of close calls off down the board?
Fortunately for us, we don't just talk about the quarterbacks because there's 21 other guys out there that we got to figure out what's going on. So there's a lot, and that's the great thing about this team. There's a lot of competition, and then we've got a lot of depth, and we look at that as a positive. I think we're excited where we are right now because of our depth, and there's a lot of battles that are going on, for a lot of different spots, whether it's a spot on the kickoff return team or a spot on the punt team or a spot in the secondary or a spot at quarterback or a spot in the O-line, a spot at tight end. It's all of those things. There's a lot of competition going on out there, and a lot of guys have made it not cut and dry decisions at times. You really got to sit down and go through everything, but that's good. We look at that as a positive. If you just had a couple guys standing out, then I'd be worried, but I'm not worried about this team right now. So.
Is this one of the tougher things you have to do as a head coach when you get down to this point and have to differentiate between guys that are so close, that played so well throughout the duration of fall camp, and one guy gets some spot and the other guy doesn't?
No.
Are you still planning on coming up with the depth chart tomorrow, finalizing that more or less?
Tomorrow afternoon, babe.
And how are you going to release it? Have you decided?
We're going to smoke signals and then maybe hired an airplane out of Eugene, and we'll put it on the tail, and then they'll just drive around the city. So you got to take a look at it.
Will Herb Street be the pilot?
That's a good coin. I asked him. I got to check what his schedule is, but that's good for him. Now we'll send out. They will send out a release what our 2 deep is, and we got to send it to Arkansas State, and they got to send us theirs. So.
One of your tenets is blocking out distractions. Is the quarterback thing and kind of the lack of a single guy, as far as we know, there impacting your team at all? Will it help to name a starter if you guys go forward with that team?
I don't get that feeling. So.
Chip, can you talk about the offensive line and how well Ronas has done this year from last year to this year?
Yeah, I said it the other day. The one thing about Ronas that is a positive is you don't notice him. He's always making the right call. There's not a mistake. There's not a bad snap. We're always in the right thing. We're always doing the right things. It's almost like there's a one constant. And it's the same thing. We've got some depth there with Carrington Armstrong's our second center, and Carrington's played a ton of football for us. And usually when you're trying to break in a new guy, all of a sudden there's a ball flipping over the quarterback's head. And obviously it starts with him. But if we don't get a great snap, there can be a lot of problems that happen. And I think he's just been such a good steadying influence on the rest of the guys. He doesn't act like he's only just a sophomore. He's a real veteran of that group up front and really leads. And that's what we need from our center spot. I thought they progressed. They came in at a great starting point. From a conditioning standpoint and a mindset standpoint, I was really happy with what they were. But I saw improvement from August 6th till today, and we've said since day one we had a plan. We'll get through 22 practices and then start concentrating on game week. And I'm really happy where we are right now. But as I told the guys earlier, it don't really mean anything if you don't show up and start practicing in game week. So it's something to build upon. It's not something to pat yourself on the back and reward yourself for, because we're still 0-0 just like everybody else in the country. But I feel happy with where we are coming out of camp. But let's build on it as we move forward from here. So
what's the process exactly like over the next 24, 48 hours with you and the rest of the coaches? I guess
we'll watch tape this afternoon and meet as a staff.
Considering your depth, should anyone be disappointed if they're not at the top of the depth chart?
I don't know. That's an individual question you got to ask them. But I think every single one of these guys are competitors and want to be on the field as much as they can. But they also care about the team. And just because a guy, may not be on the top of the two deep on the Friday before the first game doesn't mean that they're not going to contribute a lot to this football team over the course of the season. So,
Full complement of officials today. Any teachable moments?
we got some. We'll go in and look at the tape. A couple situations came up, a couple questions, and they do such a great job of explaining, what did they see and how do they call it. So anytime you can get those guys here, it's beneficial to you.
You talked in the past about
How do you approach telling a guy he's not a starter?
We bring them in and sit them down and tell them what our plans are and where we're going forward.
Have you had a variety of reactions, or is everybody?
No, I think everybody, and you're in the sport, you all understand it. I mean, it happens. It's not like this is the first time any of these guys have ever been in a battle, for playing time. So they've all, every single one of these guys, if they just got here, they probably went through it in high school, and every single one of these guys was in camp last year, so they went through the same exact thing. So this isn't like a new phenomenon that these guys are going through. So.
The Dolphins just picked the quarterback, though, and they showed it on Hard Knocks, and it didn't look like it was very fun for the coach having to break the news to the guys who weren't going to start. I mean, how do you take that?
I haven't seen Hard Knocks. So
no, but how do you take it personally when you've got to tell a guy?
I don't. It's the same, and the one thing that I keep getting this phenomenon about our quarterback, we have every position across the board. So it's like, well, who's your quarterback? And then we're all going to go home after we say who the quarterback is. There's 21 other positions. It's a team of 70 guys. Everybody's competing for spots. So for some reason, your highlight seems to be on the quarterback situation, but ours is on everybody out there. We bring them in. We tell them exactly what our depth chart is, our reason why our depth chart is the way the depth chart is, and then we move on. And that's what it's like in every sport these guys have participated in since they've been playing sports. So,
as you've noted, though, I mean, the quarterback, you rotated a lot of positions.